Listen in. Street News Now.
And welcome to the show. I'm Lee Michaels, live from Las Vegas. I hope things are going well for you and yours wherever you are around the world, and that you're safe. And I got to tell you, folks, I've talked to several friends over the past few days that have gotten the vaccine. One friend, his wife, was fine prior to getting the vaccine. Then she got the headaches and the fever and all of that stuff. So he got the damn shot gave it to her, made her sick. Another friend and client had got both shots. First one gave him a real bad stomach ache, but he thinks it might have had something to do with the fact that he was consuming a lot of yogurt prior to. Maybe so. So that's something to be noted. And then the second shot gave him a rash in his mouth and throat. So, folks, just know that there are side effects that even the scientists don't know about. And it's coming to fruition, becoming known just over the fact that millions of people are now getting these vaccines. I've not had it yet. I'm holding out. When y'all say it's cool, then I'll jump in the pool. Till then, not yet. All right, we're going to jump in the pool here. Welcome to the Five Guys talking about what's happening in the world. And we got some hot topics for you tonight, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's the Five Guys and you. You have to participate. You can participate in the chat room. Okay, whether you're on Facebook or where else are we? Twitter, where else? YouTube and Periscope, several places on Facebook. So join us. Don't be afraid. Well, I already see Mike Wilson jumping in there. Welcome to the show, Mike. And spread the word. Share and like and subscribe, okay? Share, like, and subscribe. No matter what platform you're on, we appreciate you being here, and that helps us grow the show and this network, Street News Now. Thanks again for joining us, and let me say hello to my compadre, Mr. Chris Bass. Boom shakalaka. What's happening, and tell us, what are you talking about tonight?
Yes, and a hearty boom shakalaka to you, Lee, and all to everybody else here on the crew. The Catholic Church and Pope Francis would not bless same-sex unions because it's a sin. Now, do you read the church's permission? Do you really need them when it comes to unifying the person you love? I'll have the breakdown coming up on the Baseline Breakdown.
So they say it's a sin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll hold my thoughts and come back on that one. All right, Dr. Ron is in the house like a child on punishment. What's on your plate?
Yes. How y'all doing tonight? And I'm going to revisit an old conversation that we had early on, dealing with, will we accept, Black people back into their Black cards or Black neighborhood, and specifically Miss Stacey Dash. We're going to be talking about her trying to get back in the hood.
That's going to be an interesting topic. I say yes and no, but I'll hold my thoughts. Okay? Francisco, the chocolate Yoda. What's on your plate tonight?
Oh, tonight we're going to be talking about the unfortunate situation with violence against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders.
That's interesting, and it is a real problem, unfortunately, and we've got to get a grip on this, man. It's insane. Anyway, again, I'll hold my thoughts, and here's the Reverend DJ Miles.
And again, I'll just simply. I'm not going to sing it, but I'll just ask the question. Of course, I'm here just as an anchor, but I want to say, how's your funkin'
Plain and simple, folks.
Funkin'.
You never know, but you know what's going to come out of his mouth. Thank you. Maybe you need a trip to the Vatican. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Hey.
Maybe you can help them. So, okay, I'll tell you what. We're going to jump on Chris. Chris, you go ahead and take the lead here, and let's hear the rest of the story.
The rest of the story. The Vatican said Monday that the Catholic Church would not bless same-sex unions in a combative statement approved by Pope Francis that threatens to widen the chasm between the church and much of the LGBTQ community. Explaining their decision in a lengthy note on Monday, the Holy See referred to same-sex unions as a choice, described them as sinful, and said they cannot be recognized and objectively ordered by God's plans. The stance is certain to disappoint millions of gay and lesbian Catholics around the world. Now, here's the thing as I see it, or the baseline breakdown. If you love who you love, the one thing I read in these articles, I don't hear the word love, didn't read the word love. If you love who you love, then who would anybody get in the way of that? Some religious sects talk about hate the sin, not the sinner. But nowadays they lump them all to one lump sum. And you don't get that, okay, I may not approve of what you're doing, but you are, quote unquote, one of God's children, so I'm going to embrace that part. Nowadays you don't hear about that. I believe the two people love each other, no matter who they are. And it wasn't in this situation same sex. You are an island amongst yourself. Any relationship that you are a part of, you create your own language, you create your own storyline, you create everything. And you don't need anybody else telling you that that's wrong. Because unfortunately, we have people out here who are not a part of religious sect will point their fingers and say, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be part of the same sex. And yet they're probably doing their own dirt behind closed doors or sometimes out in public. So we cannot judge these people. We cannot judge anybody because we got dirt on ourselves. And usually most people who are doing the most judging are doing the most work and they're probably the most freakiest people you ever want to see, because they're hypocrites. And again, how you talk about this situation when you talk about same-sex unions, when over the years, we've heard about the unfortunate stories of boys being molested by Catholic priests, and then not taking care of the problem, they take the priest to put them in different sects at different churches and just move them around, and the problem still festers. So we can go really by item and point the finger back at them. But this is historical. But instead of doing the pointing the finger thing, I'm going to do this. The fact that you have same-sex unions who say, God forbid, someone gets sick, the two go to the hospital, and because they're not recognized by law, they can't get on insurance. They can't even see their loved one in the hospital. They had to be put into the waiting room while they call somebody for family. And over the years, we've seen these things change, and rightfully so. The fact remains is that you should not let the church or anybody tell you that you should not be together. You love who you love, you stick with that.
I heard that. And I agree with you. Who can tell you what you feel in your heart or what you should feel in your heart? And we'll dig into that with the rest of the crew here in just a minute. And so let's do Dr. Ron, your world squirrel.
All right, you want me to deliver my whole monologue at the moment? I don't have a problem with that. First of all, let me tell y'all about Stacey Dash. Stacey Dash is now 54 years old. And she really got into trouble when she declared herself a Republican. And then she started making excuses for all of the stupid things that number 45 used to say, starting with the mayhem that took place in Charlotte, West Virginia. I think it was West Virginia. And she began to uphold everything he said as if that he were right and all this everything is okay, being a Republican, the traditional Republican rah, 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 sis, boom, bah. Okay. So now she is attempting to try and be accepted into the Black community They said on Wednesday, Ms. Dash one-upped her tone deafness and went to the British press to issue an apology for what she called her past mistakes that came with her membership to the Republican Party. Not the black press, but the same British press that is being vilified as racist after Meghan Markle's bombshell interview with Oprah Winfrey aired 3 days earlier. So she is trying to go around, the back door to enter back into the public eye and say, oh, I want to be black again. So, we talked about this before. Will we embrace black people that were lined up on the Republican side of things and try to become back on the black side of things? Will we treat them fairly? Will we keep them out of the barbecue, so to speak? Will they be welcomed back into the fold for them to stab another knife in our back? So it's out there. The panel needs to comment.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
I'm not gonna start.
I'll start. I have no problem starting.
Okay.
I'm trying. So go ahead,
Yeah.
Francisco, you start, because
All right.
I'm at the corner
so
of walk and don't walk.
Here's what I think. There used to be a term for the Stacey Dashes of the world and her ilk, and it was turncoat. When you realized that your side had lost, suddenly you wanted to align yourself with the winning side. I have no respect for this. I have respect for the person that says, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. I am sticking to the courage of my convictions, come hell or high water. Now, I understand that on a personal side, people are allowed to grow and that kind of thing, but this is not a child. This is not a teenager or someone in their 20s, and you expect that from a person in their 20s. Someone in their 50s, I find it unacceptable. Like you made your bed, sleep in it. It's that simple. And so, hey, everybody's entitled to their own opinion on this, but she's not welcome back at my barbecue.
All you gotta do is serve her pork, right?
At this point, she'll eat it. I think she'll eat the pork and anything else you serve up.
There's a joke in there about Dominican sausage, but I'm too classy to say.
Professor, what are your thoughts?
Man, I love her.
Okay.
It matters. It matters not to me that she wants to come back. The thing is that at any given time, any one of us, being male or female, we are used as something, for the other party. I mean, she got paid. She was highly paid to do that, and then they fired her. So you got, if you're gonna do that to her, what about Leo? What about Juan Williams? What about the list of other people who have been used that way? I mean, it's cool, and she wants to come back. I mean, I'm good with that too. We're gonna always have that. You got this new one out now called Candace Owens. I mean, this is another new young girl. Now and boy, you think Leo's bad? This Candace, whoa. She ripping everything up. So there's always going to be some person of color that the other side will find. It's like you priming up a carburetor, to keep they gonna put some gas in it, right?
Right.
And to keep their engine running, because they're gonna have to find somebody, one of us, to help to put forward their agenda.
Yeah.
But does that make it okay though?
I mean, you can't stop it.
I know we can't stop it, but does it make it okay?
But then if we gonna say she wrong, then we need to wipe out Sammy Davis Jr. We need to wipe out James Brown. We need to wipe out every party that went for Republicans. And we love JB and we love Sammy. But they, Sammy was what he was for Tricky Dick. Him and JB.
Yeah. But I think they displayed another side that they were committed to their heritage and the Black community. And I think they both did, phenomenal things, but probably James maybe a little more than Sammy to promote and help Black people.
Well, that's why they stopped using the brothers, man.
Yeah.
but okay, you say that, but it's not the same Republican Party now as it was then.
Wait a minute.
Okay, the Republican Party now is blatantly and openly racist and attacking Blacks.
What? When did it start?
It's always been that way.
Oh yeah, I mean,
but when you talk about
a little bit of sugar on it.
No,
yeah. In your face, the covers have been pulled off. The hood is off. They're wearing three-piece suits.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And it's they don't care. They don't care to be exposed. Look at the damn fools who are at the Capitol. How many have been arrested now? Over 400. So they don't care. They're out there.
But
that's blatant. That's blatant.
This woman, when she got fired, though, she hasn't had a career since. When she got taken up, when she got fired, when she stepped across that line got caught cussing on the air, right? And she hasn't had anything since then.
She didn't have a career before this either.
Well, she got paid for doing what she did, though. She was an actor. But check this out, though. Her MO now, right? She's an actress.
Mm-hmm.
So she got paid for doing her vocation. You don't be mad at somebody because they doing their vocation. She's an actress.
Yeah. Well, she was definitely playing the role, if you will. She followed the script.
Man.
But
I still
following the script in a movie or a TV show or a documentary is different than being out here in the real world dealing on a political stage.
Exactly.
And you're drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is right, that is wrong. I'm over here, you're over there. You're stupid for being over there. And I'm in the best place because the Republican Party is for people like me.
Well, listen.
And there are consequences to that, too.
Yeah, it is. It is. Either way.
She suffered it. She got fired. When they got tired of her, they took her card away from her.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about consequences for her. Her rhetoric has consequences for Black and brown people.
Oh, wait a minute. Now we killing ourselves now. So we can't be blaming stuff on her rhetoric and we tearing each other up.
Why not?
Oh, no,
those things are not mutually exclusive. They're both wrong.
I'm not going with none of that because we need.
Fair enough, but those things are both wrong to me.
I hear you. We need to fix ourselves first. That girl ain't doing nothing but talking. What about the actions and the stuff that we're doing amongst ourselves in our community? She ain't doing.
What leads to holocausts?
I mean, coonery has been going on a long time. She's not the first coon. And won't be.
I'm just glad that Harriet Tubman ain't here anymore to plug her in the neck.
Well, amen. Now, amen to that. But Harriet was of a different color. Different. She was a different thing. But this woman got paid. She did her job. I still love her, man. I ain't gonna kick her to the curb.
Love is blind.
Yeah.
I
still love her.
I'm gonna throw this out there. She gonna come to my barbecue, and since you have already, declared that she's an actress, I can think of a couple of movies she can do remakes on, like, Linda Lovelace does Dallas or something,
There you go.
Agent of Chaos.
Deep Throat, I'm like
you're a straight porn star. I'm gonna say this. I will welcome her and maybe even the Bopsy twins who was it? Sugar and
Diamond and
Spice.
Silk.
It's Diamond and Silk. Yeah,
Yeah,
Sugar
Amos
and
and
Spice.
Andy.
I will even welcome them back. You know why? Because anybody that's willing to admit they made a mistake and they got spanked, they got used, misused, and abused, and they want to come back home. The Democratic Party has always had its doors open for that. So I welcome you, Stacey, the Bopsy twins, and anybody else, even Leo. I like Leo. Leo is a fiery guy, but he switched because when Orange Juice was in trouble, he was all for OJ. But now he probably would hit him with a golf club right now. So I will welcome you because you're willing to admit that you made a mistake. So come on home. You know, everybody's not going to be as nice as me. Now, be mindful. Don't come back and then be slipping and being a turncoat in the back door. Going around, you say, hey, they said, woo, 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 because you don't want to get used again. And that's exactly what you'll put yourself in that position. So,
but I don't think they're gonna have to touch her again. I think she's done. She toast.
No question. When they're done with you, you're done.
Yeah.
You can't go back over there.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
She's toast. That's why she got to come back, to the other side, to get some type of acceptance again, because they done with her. So and it's all good. And like I still love her, man. Even, I don't know her. I mean, she cool. Come on back. I mean, it can't be any worse than the brothers out here shooting these little 13 and 14-year-old girls and all this other mayhem that's going on in our community.
Right.
The carjacking and all this old kind of stuff. So we got to get some balance to what's going on. She ain't doing nothing but getting paid by the white folks to stay a certain position.
Well, let me throw this out there. Do you think it would be better to serve her if she started a European career? Doing movies over there and trying to get, because then she won't have to put up with the ridicule of American politics and what she did and how she did it. If she went to,
she can't run away from it. They'll follow her over there as well. Media is everywhere. Fox is everywhere around the world. CNN, MSNBC. They're all. I mean, you can't run away from your mistakes. You have to cleanse yourself, repent. Get down on bended knee and say, I'm sorry. And take the punishment, whatever that is. It's going to be a little embarrassing, but at least she's saying, I want to come home.
Yeah.
Come home.
Remember the scene from what was that? From was it Trading Places? So Billy Ray Valentine comes out of the prison and he gets in the car with the Dukes. And the Dukes is like, they got the cigars and the whiskey. And he was like, you could walk out of here and not see it for the rest of your life. So he looks around and he sees the TVs and the cell phones and looks at the cigars and the whiskey. Oh, no, I got to hang out with you guys a little bit longer. So that was Stacey Dash. She knew what she was getting into. She got the whiskey, got the cigars, got the hype, took the check, but also be responsible for your actions. That's it. That's all. So when they don't want you anymore and you get used up like a $2 hole or maybe $2 more because he was in more money, in that situation, you realize that they don't want you anymore. So people can be forgiving. Nothing wrong with that. But I think at the same time, when you knew exactly what you were getting into, it's like, it's easy. For me, as I get older, I find the strangest philosophy things in certain media. I'm a cartoon person, so I like Super Chicken. In the opening line of Super Chicken, when you're hearing the theme, there's a line in there where he says, "You knew the job wasn't easy when you took it." I was like, damn, that actually makes some sort of sense. So Stacey Dash knew the job wasn't easy when she took it. She was probably broke. Not let everybody knock on the door. Miss Dash, we had these roles for you. No, but she was probably flat broke and need the gig. Nothing wrong with that. But be responsible for the fact that you messed up and is not sorry. It's the classic, I'm sorry I got caught. Nice.
So let me ask a hypothetical. What if she wasn't paid and she wasn't acting? What if she was really representing her beliefs? Does that change anything for anybody?
Chain.
And by the way, while you're thinking of the answer to that, now that Lee put up her photo, I changed my mind. I love her too. I forgot how good looking she is. Forget it, Stacey. I didn't mean a word of it.
I would definitely cast her in a comeback film. The remake.
We know what
of Deep Throat. That's a classic film. That's a classic film.
Oh man!
Yeah, you turn her into a porn star.
Hey man, she likes money.
Yeah, but
and she's willing.
But don't.
She's willing. She's willing to to do all sorts of manner of ill-forgotten things to get it. Okay, and then say I'm sorry that she did it. That sounds like a porn star to me.
Wow.
Hey, I mean, I see that point, and I'm gonna leave that on Dr. Ron's table. But I see that point. If you're gonna be pimped out, be pimped out all the way. I got that.
Thank you.
I got that. I mean, I got that. I got that. But see, this is the kind of mess and the kind of rhetoric that we have to deal with. I mean, who actually speaks for us? Okay.
Well, the sad thing about it is, she has yet to come to the American media and apologize, for what she has done. She slid this apology in on a British side of media, knowing that it would get to us. So, everybody should be entitled to forgiveness, like was said earlier. But, like you say, man up, man up. Stand up, say, yes, I did it, own it, and if you're going to make an attempt to try and make a career here, whatever that might be, move forward. Now, everybody wants to pick on me because I introduced her into a marketable, prosperous endeavor, but, it ain't nobody out there that would not offer her, because there's plenty of people that went from one to the other and then back again. So if she's an actress, she should be able to pull it off, So
boy. I don't know, Ron. That's a hard move, man.
Yeah. Hey, man. Look, no pun intended, right? Hard move.
I'm trying to be a good Democrat.
Uh-huh.
and well, you know what though? I don't know. I just don't know if now I'm not sure what this is. This when she got arrested or something? Is this a mugshot?
Oh man,
is that the same person?
You going deep now, bro?
I mean, but I'm just trying to understand.
Well, she looks angry there, and actually that makes me more attracted to her.
Well, she's revealing her funkenteliki.
You got to tell people what that means, man.
The real deal.
Yeah.
AK funkenteliki means the real deal.
Thank
That's
you.
what it means.
Because we everybody ain't old as you, man. They don't know these things.
Well, then that's why they need to look it up.
Okay.
I mean, I ain't listen. We got this large library at our fingertips called Google. I mean Google.
Uh-huh.
So just put in funkenteliki.
So how do we close this? What's the final verdict? Yes, no, maybe so.
And I still love her.
So that's a yes?
Yeah, I still love her.
So come on home.
Come on home.
Okay. Chris?
Stay where you are.
Dr. Ron.
I would say I would take her home with conditions.
Okay. I don't even want to hear about those conditions.
Yeah.
Got to sign that contract, huh?
Yeah.
Funkentelechy.
Professor, you said come on home, huh?
Yeah, it don't matter to me. Come on, We got
Francisco.
Bye, Felicia.
So let's see. We got Ryan. Yours was
I take
yes
her home
with
with
conditions.
conditions. Yes.
So we got yes, nope. So I'm the tiebreaker.
Yes, sir.
Let me get back to you on it. No, I think I've already said. I say come on home. So it's 3-2.
The
3
yeas
yeses,
take
2 no's, and
the nose have it.
who knows?
Wait, do we have time for a filibuster?
Really.
Yeah.
I want to know what the women in the audience are thinking. Okay, red beans and rice is saying yes or no. I know she's saying no. Lee Michaels, does that mean I shouldn't be saying yes? What is your vote? Red beans, pork and beans.
Mike says no.
Mike Wilson says no.
Yeah.
You're giving her too much power. Shaking my head. Dr. Ron, apologize, my fat ass. What? Oh, okay.
Nah, that's Funkentelechy.
You too. I just don't understand. So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to spend a whole lot more time on Stacey Dash, but so that was a domestic dispute with her ex-husband now.
She had 3 of them.
She's been married 3 times?
3 times. 2.
Oh, I like her even more now.
Now 3 times, and then her longest relationship has been 2 or 3 years.
Wait a minute.
The first one was
you say you like her even more now?
Damaged women are right up my alley. Yeah.
Well, and then I can explain that after we get off. Then I will drop the comments.
Join us on Patreon for the Green Room After Show.
Oh yes. Yes.
We'll make a fortune.
Well, to wrap it up, we all really feel like, she's crossed the line of no return, basically. And we have to figure out, other people in her category, like I saw Samora's name up there earlier as well. She was also a Trump supporter and buried so far up his ass that she didn't have an opinion of her own or anything for such a long time. And then when she pulled away from his camp, she went completely underground and, and just disappeared completely.
Who was that? Omarosa?
Yeah, Omarosa. Yeah. So Omarosa was, that's what I say. She disappeared completely off the face of the earth for the most part.
He wrote a book though.
Yeah, but
she got to be cool though. She can't. She got to be cool.
Yeah. So, but there's others like Stacey is the point that I'm making, and probably some folks in our own neighborhoods that we don't even know about. So we gotta, keep our eyes open at all times, because we did see Black folks in that riot in the insurrection in DC. And, one of the questions was always asked is, we don't know where, well, not asked, but what,
I think.
Yeah, but what they have gone back to their own neighborhoods, and some of those people can be 2 to 3 doors away from where you are. So it's good to keep your eyes open and pay attention to what folks are saying. So, we just gotta be aware at all times,
Yeah, that's true. I'd like to hear more from the audience, people that are watching us tonight, whether you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Periscope, or Twitch. Chime in. let us hear your voice in the chat room, and we'll blow it up for you. It's an interesting topic, but let's move over to the Vatican. The Vatican. It's interesting that they want to talk about, the fact that you can't love who you want to love, and it's a sin. What about all the priests that have been sinning and still employed by the Vatican? The Catholic Church is the world's biggest corporation, the biggest. And they have their own police. They can do any damn thing they want to over there on their grounds. And the local police, I don't think, have any kind of jurisdiction whatsoever. That's too much power for a church, ladies and gentlemen. It's a church with a bunch of people walking around in kind of crazy looking clothes and pimp shoes. You ever seen the shoes that the Pope wears? That boy be pig pimping.
And that hat.
Yeah, man. So I'm just saying, I can't go along with that kind of behavior. You want to cast laws, rules, and regulations about how people are supposed to live, but your own house is dirty.
My point exactly. Precisely. Precisely.
Well, my first question to clarify a point, is the Catholic Church a religion?
I think it is religion. I think it is religion for most people, but at the same time, what Lee just mentioned, it is also a business. So you cannot ignore one and not the other. It deals in politics. It goes back to what you said about the priest and having these things doing with boys, molesting them or sodomizing them, and then you make it okay because you put them in different churches. You take one away and you put them somewhere else, and that becomes an ongoing problem. You do not take care of the predator. You're not even trying to look at the predator. Just think the predator will go somewhere else, but the predator keeps on doing what he does. They're creatures of habit, and they have all these lives destroyed. People have gone to hospitals. People have gone to psychiatrists because of what they've gone through. They've had national lawsuits against the Catholic Church. So again, it depends on how you view it and your optics. But let's not forget, if again, like Lee said, if you cannot point the finger at someone else's house when your house is not only dirty, it's you got back-to-back crap. You have years upon years. You're hoarding. You're hoarding all this evil. You can tell somebody else you can't love who you want to love.
James Brown called it filthy McNasty.
The professor always has a song.
Yes, he does.
All for everything. That's
the topic.
Yeah, but it's very relevant.
Right. Can we put this in another context, though? If you found out that someone at the daycare, some man that owned a daycare center, was raping children there, would we have any doubt as to what had to happen next?
No, man, he'd be crucified damn near.
So I want to understand why people give the institution of the Catholic Church such latitude on this subject.
Because they have power and influence.
Not over me.
No, not you. No, not you, Mr. Buddha. But I'm talking about the others, who are involved in that. With Mr. Yoda and Buddha, I feel you're the same person. The thing about it is that when you look at a doctrine like that, and I'll yield to my brother, the professor, Dr. DJ, in a second. I know he's chomping at the bit. But when you look at the tentacles of the Catholic Church throughout society, throughout politics, throughout, I dare even say, Hollywood to a degree, depending on your background, because of so much power, whoever has the power gives out the privileges. And so the privileges go to the people who are, look, if I do A, B, and C, make sure you protect me. If I do, C, D, and the rest of the alphabet, protect me because I'm going to give tithes and protect the church. So it's a catch-22. Don't get me wrong. If you're part of a Catholic organization and faith-based, you believe in that, that's great. I believe, like, look, if I went to a priest and would say, look, forgive me, Father, I have sinned. I did so-and-so, so-and-so. Okay, a couple of Hail Marys. Oh, I'm good? I mean, I'm clean. I can do more sin? Hey, great, thank you. High five, and I'm back out in the street. That's how some people view it. And it has to understand the following, that once you are a part of something, it's not always easy to get out of. If you're a part of something that, once again, like if you grew up Catholic, I know people obviously grew up Catholic, but when they got older, obviously by the time they're teens or especially the young adult years, they question their surroundings. They question their dogma of religion. So if you question it, that means you have something wrong with it somewhere. And some have, left the church and some stayed in there.
Well, I think we have to separate the believer from the institution. I discuss those topics separately because, whatever gets you through the night is all right. Whatever you believe in, whatever gives you comfort. I don't care what's in your head. I just care about what you do in the world. And so what I want people to do is reflect as individuals and just ask themselves, is this an institution that I want to support? Believe whatever you want to believe in terms of your spiritual life, man. Everyone's entitled to that. But think about what you're doing when you go to church and you put that $1 or more into the basket. You are literally paying for the defense funds of rapists, of child rapists. And there is nothing on earth worse than a child rapist.
Mm-hmm.
So
Amen,
we've
brother.
got to really evaluate these things.
Absolutely. Now, I yield the rest of my time to the gentleman of the turntables. Professor, please, you have the floor.
Okay. Thank you. Boom shakalaka, Chris Bass. In the words of our Friday show, and I won't say it, but thank you, my brother.
You're welcome.
But listen. I'm like, this is like a conspiracy thing, like coming up in my head, right? Let's deal with this word, Catholic Church. In my understanding, that this word Catholic, at least it had an adjective in front of it, which was like the name of a civilization. There was a Greek, and then there was a what kind of a civilization? What was the second thing that we learned?
Roman.
Yeah. So it's the Roman Catholic Church. So that's why it's so strong, because it's been based in that ancient civilization, right? This thing has been going on for a long time.
It's like the Queen of England.
Yeah.
The Roman civilization was conquered many times, and they're really not relevant right now.
Yeah.
You can't tell it by this church.
Yeah. I think that's a vestigial name, but I get your point.
Yeah, and not just the Catholic Church. There are other branches or religions that have scars and criminals involved. The Baptists and some of the other, religions.
But it wasn't a Roman Baptist church.
No, that's true.
It's not, but that came from us. When I was in school, the first civilization that I learned about was the Greeks. Then the next civilization I learned about is the Roman. My granddad told me that this civilization that we're living in, so-called today, is still another artifact of Rome.
And one of the reasons why I asked that question about religion, because all through time, religion has been flawed, and it has made, a mockery of civilizations all through history. Okay. When you start looking back on how the Bible and the gun came in at the same time under the auspices of religion. Okay. We're going to teach you how to be civilized. And that was their door opener. Y'all walking around in bearskin, rugs and all this other stuff. We're going to teach y'all how to put clothes on. And at the same time, we're going to teach you how to submit yourself to abuse. Okay,
You're going
because
to be
that's
civilized or we're going to kill you.
and abused. Okay, that goes along with being conquered. So understanding that the Catholic Church ain't got no right in them, and can't do anything right. So their opinion on how they attack people is just follow suit with who they are. Now I'm not upholding, don't get it twisted. I'm not upholding, anything that a person may agree or disagree with, because everybody has the right to agree or disagree individually with what they feel is right for them and their family. But when you start looking at the influences that these gangsters, I see it, gangsters, have on people all over the world, it's got to be some benefit to them at some point in time, because they don't come out and say something without it being a benefit. What's the profitability in it for them? How they gonna turn this around and say, well, we're gonna wind up with some more funds for our, what did you call it, Francisco? Their pedophile,
The
legal,
defense fund.
defense fund, and that's the
And once
reality.
again, words have consequences, right? Think about violence against gays, and then my topic tonight about violence against Asians. Those all spring from words. And when you have an organization as far-reaching as the Catholic Church, where people do base their life on those teachings, and unfortunately, they do take what the leaders say very seriously. So we're opening the doors again to hatred against gays because religious leaders said so.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I want to share with the audience, and one thing that I would wish for, if there was one person as far as education history that I could hear and listen to, that would be John Henry Clark. That would be anything that you could find on that man in regards to religion and Black people and all that. Please listen to John Henry Clark. That man, that man is he lets us know that religion has, for Black people, there has been no friend of religion as far as Black people that's concerned. Everybody that has come across us or has been with us has tried to use and abuse us.
Amen.
So John Henry Clark, please just check John Henry Clark. If there was one teacher, if I could go back in time right now and sit in any class, I would take every course I could from John Henry Clark.
Must be a powerful speaker and with a lot of knowledge.
Man,
let's deal with the anti-Asian racism.
Right. And this is really going to be a short editorial, and I really would prefer to hear the thoughts of the esteemed panel. But as we've seen in the last year, when Dump vilified Asian people, specifically Chinese people in this case, violence against Asians and Pacific Islanders rose 150%. And it culminated recently in the deaths of 6 Asian women at different spas. And it's not just the idea of the facts of the story, and everyone's kind of familiar with it. If you're not, it's easy to figure out what I'm talking about. What troubles me is that I've seen Black and brown people kind of take the position, not everybody, of course, just a few, have taken the position, hey, better them than us. And I think that this is not the optimal way to go into this situation. It's like that famous quote of, when they came for the Jews, I said nothing. When they came for the intellectuals, I said nothing. And when they came for me, there was no one to say anything to. We cannot take this attitude that oh, it's happening to another group, so we can sit this one out. We don't have to worry about anything. We really need to understand that violence against minorities can't be tolerated just because it's a different group than yours. You know, we have to take a more expansive approach than that. And that's my short editorial. I'd love to hear what everyone has to say about that.
Well, I agree with you. Racism against any person or group of people is just, it's wrong. It's unnecessary and shouldn't be tolerated. And we as Americans, we have to stand up against it, because if you don't, and I don't care what group you represent, if you happen to be the majority population of this country right now, which is Caucasian or white people, there will come a day when you are going to be a minority.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
So just understand that you don't want to be in my position. And I hope by time this transition happens, and it is going to happen, it's already been projected, it's going to happen. And you're going to have to accept the fact that you are no longer the majority number of people in this country. And guess what? This country is not going to fall apart because of that. It may get stronger. It will get better because we all are trying to be better human beings. So join the parade. Let's march towards that and get all of this hate and discontent and I'm better than you. I look better than you. My hair is prettier. My eyes are prettier. The hell with that. We're all different, and that's okay. And I have love in my heart for anyone until they screw up. Even Stacey Dash. With that, I yield back my time.
Well, let me say this. I think it would be a very positive thing for us to embrace all the persecuted races that are out there. You know, embrace them. You know, we have been down this road a lot longer than they have. We've been persecuted a lot longer in this country than many of them have. So if we embrace them, we can teach them, you know, how to survive, you know, during these turmoil times. Because, you know, number 45 has put a bullseye on them. He has targeted them over and over and over again. So it's something that we as a people that have been persecuted over and over and over again and still persecuted, we can embrace them and help them. And when attacks like this come their way, we can teach them how to prepare and defend themselves so that they don't have to perish in these attacks.
We have a caller. Let's get him in before we get out of here. This is a guy who has been kind of following me around for the last 5 or 6 years. Goes by the name of Captain America. And he's a very astute caller. Captain America, welcome to the show.
Good evening, gentlemen. How you doing, Lee? I appreciate coming on for a second. I was just listening to the conversation and the dialogue. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot you guys have.
Thank you. Good to hear your voice again.
Yes, situation. Is it women who I think your parents might agree that our previous president, Mr. Trump, played a large part in fueling this kind of resurgence almost of overt violence and just almost maniacal expressions of bigotry. I mean, it's always been there, but I think with the pulpit that any president controls, to have someone as emotionally unstable as he was and just as manipulative as he was of people's emotions, in large part calling it the Kung flu and I mean, he generally, I believe, targeted agents for this surge of violence that we're seeing now, among other things, other negative atmospheres that he fueled, I believe.
he is directly responsible for what's going on against the Asian people. He talked about them like they were criminals, and there happen to be very productive people in our society. Many of them are very wealthy. They pay their taxes. They do the same things that you and I do, and he does, except that he cheats on his taxes, and I hope they finally, make him pay. But, it's a damn shame that we have allowed him to pimp America. And for those of you who voted for him, I hope that you have second thoughts now, because if you have not changed your mind and your opinion of what this guy has done to this country and to you, I ask you one question. How has your life changed for the better under his administration?
Isn't it mind-boggling, though, gentlemen, that even at this late stage that there are people, high-level statesmen within the GOP, Republican Party, that can still continuing to circle the wagons around Trump, and he's as though he's going to be reborn as some messiah. That totally confounds me. I do not get their end game. I don't see what's in it from a PR point of view, as in terms of the future of the Republican Party in the stance that they've taken.
Well, I'll respond to that quickly. They don't have any good, smart people that can take the bull by the horn and take the leadership away from Mitch McConnell, Donald Trump, and that other chump down in South Carolina, and many others that are doing horrible things against the Republican Party and this country. You guys go ahead and take it from here.
And once again, let's just focus on the fact that words have consequences. This is all about one man saying a message to the public, and this was the consequence. People lost their lives as a consequence.
Big time. And still losing their lives. And this guy's gone. But the wake that we're rocking in right now is going to go on for a while longer until we just stop it. Talking about a wall, we need a wall to stop the wake from Trump. And I just hope that America, the rest of America, wakes up. And just as a quick note, our intelligence service have found out and confirmed that Russia did have a play in our election. They may not have been able to get into the machines and the computer systems and what have you, but through propaganda, they influence the outcome. And I said from day one, there was no way in hell this man legitimately got 74 million votes without some kind of skullduggery.
It was the biggest propaganda campaign that anyone's ever seen.
Exactly. And the Russians played a role in that. He tried to blame it on China. It wasn't China. It was Russia. So, ladies and gentlemen, wake up and smell the coffee. This guy, as far as I'm concerned, was a Russian spy. He was working locked hand and foot with the Russian playbook. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm. Full blown. He was fully compromised from day one. From day one.
Absolutely. Captain America, good to hear your voice, man, and don't be a stranger to the show. You know the number. You can always get in and share your thoughts. And I say the same thing to all of our other listeners. Don't be afraid to call in and be heard.
Gentlemen, I appreciate it. It was quite insightful. I caught the end of it, but I've got you locked in, and so I was getting notified, but my phone was notifying, but I was out on the balcony.
All right.
I'm glad I stepped in time to catch it, gentlemen.
All right, buddy. Be safe. Stay healthy.
Sir.
All right. God bless. But that's where we are, folks. We've got issues with the Catholic Church. We got issues with England, the Queen and her entourage. They've been exposed. Like, it wasn't no big surprise to me. I don't know about you guys, but it was no big surprise that there's racism in the castle. No surprise. I'm done.
Wait a minute.
All right. Okay, somebody put five off the bed. So there it is.
Wait a minute. The country that started slavery, the slave trade and all that stuff, you not think that would still not exist in the highest man? This little island ran the world at one time.
Mm-hmm. Professor, you're right.
Wait a minute. Nobody saw that coming. That they would be exposed at a time like this when Black Lives Matter movement started in the United States. They were protesting in the streets of the UK
and 88 other countries.
Yes. So it was not something that was a secret. Everybody tried to tear it down all at the same time. The attack was on every front, not just on the United States front, but it was on every front. And the UK was included to be exposed. Yes.
Who'd have thought that there would be a bigger scandal about Meghan and Harry and not Prince William being in an incest ring? Or a child raping ring. He was part of the pedophile thing with Jeffrey Epstein and all that.
The guy that mysteriously killed himself in custody.
Yeah.
On suicide watch.
On suicide watch. Hey, the camera didn't work, man. What are you gonna do?
Blind in one eye and can't see out here.
As the professor would say, aha.
Yeah, he got got.
Wow.
He got.
Yes.
There was no funkin' telekey for him.
None whatsoever.
But they got it. They got his girlfriend that was right there with him. Yeah. How long you think it's gonna take her to squeal?
She's. I mean, if she hasn't by now. She probably won't. She's probably
there's no way for us to know
by the estate, Yeah,
she could be singing like a bird right now, and they could be rounding people up. Like we have no idea.
Right. They're gonna give us what they want us to hear.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Epstein was in jail for 18 months before he met his unfortunate demise.
Yeah, and think about the guy whose daughter they just put in jail here in Chicago. The daughter of the biggest drug cartel in Mexico. His daughter just now got sentenced on this last week, so she's telling, and it takes time for them to pull them in and get them off the street and do what they're going to do to them, Chewy, what is it? Chewy Garcia? Was it? No, not Chewy Garcia. Chewy Garcia was a congressman, but the drug guy, the cartel drug guy that they put in jail for life. Yeah. They just put his daughter in jail.
You're talking about El Chapo?
Yes, El Chapo.
Okay.
That's the one. Yeah. Yep. Because she was married to the second biggest drug dealer in the world, So now he finally got her. Yeah.
Yeah, don't say the United States. That was Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's why I said world. I'm in bigger than that.
Right, Reggie? You know what I'm talking about.
Man, listen. A lot of things when folk get when they're talking about, especially when y'all talking about whatever we had as the leader of the country in the previous 3 years, I made a vow. I told y'all, I'm done. If anything that I will say, it was pure evil, and that came out. That was at this attitude that I feel that's happening is a direct. It's like backlash from the fact that America elected Barack Obama. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people say that.
And this just opened the door for this. Well, since we did that, we could do anything now. So, we gotta get a hold of ourselves again. And then, like I said, in my tirade last week, I want to be a human being.
I have a question for you guys. When Barack Obama was in office, he served for 2 terms. He did get a lot of things accomplished. But just in the short few weeks now that Biden has been in office, he has appointed more minorities than any president, including Barack Obama, to his cabinet. Now, my question is, if Obama had done the same type or the number of minorities to his cabinet, what kind of reaction, or would they even been able to pass to be not just nominated, but take the office? But see, my thing is, and I said it from day one, he will be able to do a lot of things that needs to be done, but there's a limit. There's a line that he can't go over because he is a person of color. Now, Joe Biden, a white guy, an older white guy who's lived through a lot of different eras in this country, is now able to do those things that previous presidents should have done. Mm-hmm. Now, this cabinet is beginning to look like America. And guess what? It's okay because these people are smart. They're highly educated. They're experienced. They know what the hell they're doing. And just think about all of the people who have had the same type of background and experience that never got a shot under previous presidents. Am I wrong? Am I?
No, and I think Biden is in a unique position in that he got to learn at as being the VP under Obama. He saw what Obama's mistakes were. And strategically, the main mistake that Obama made was not taking advantage of his first 2 years having the trifecta of power in Washington. And that's why Biden, right out of the gate, said, we're going to pass legislation no matter what they want to do. They're going to block us. Not one Republican lawmaker in the Congress or in the Senate voted for the stimulus. That's insane. Okay, but we understand what their game is.
Pissed off at them.
Yeah, we understand what their game is.
They don't care.
It's business as usual for these people. They're just going to be obstructionists the same way they were with Obama. So I think the big advantage that Biden has is that he has those lessons.
One of the things that I like about Mr. Biden as president, I mean, it's like you got to give props. You got to give props to them old warriors. This cat was an old warrior. This is why Barack chose him, because he was that old warrior. And Joe didn't try to jump back in and try to run for the presidency at his second, because I believe Joe knew he was smart, and he knew he had to step back and let what happened happen. And so it made it time for him, because right now, listen, and y'all know I'm gonna say this till we need a FDR moment. We need an FDR moment. It's just that simple. We need this country to take care of its people like the country under Roosevelt took care of its people after the Depression. It's just that simple. You know, we can't keep playing Rumpelstiltskin and trying to make gold out of straw. You all got to give us some substance in terms of infrastructure, more jobs and stuff like that. We got to take care of the roads. These things have to happen. These things have to happen. And so, like the initial things that was happening under the FDR administration, the military was integrated, and all these other different things that was going on. We were protesting. The first threat of the March on Washington came during FDR, during those moments. And this is the right time. And Mr. Biden is the right man because he has all this knowledge. The other person that the country selected or whatever that the country did was not about that. And we do learn from our mistakes. 80 million people realized that what was happening was a mistake. And we cannot keep spiraling going down. Things have to level off. And you need a person that has wisdom to do that. And so Mr. Biden has been able to navigate both sides of the aisle and do this. Now, those people, the Repcons, they're going to stay their thing because they want to keep, they got to stand up for the white supremacy and all the things. The Ronnie Reagan, the MAGA, and whatever those terms, those cold terms that came under Ronnie Reagan, and their a racist agenda. That agenda never meant anything for us, but that agenda was to keep them in power. But it has to be a FDR moment. The little people, we got to get something so we can have enough money for them to come back and take it back. But we got to get something now. We have to have something now.
Between both presidents, between Obama and Biden, is timing and era.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to President Obama. Representative Joe Wilson said in the chambers of the State of the Union address, "You lie."
Yeah.
To a sitting president.
Mm-hmm.
We had Mitch McConnell say he'll be a one-term president. So him going into it, he already knew the battle. So say, for example, he did try to make the cabinet look like America. All the pushback, all the elbow back, all the knee back, all the ass back, he would have got all that. Mm-hmm. Why? Because he's the black president. Mm-hmm. Why? Because you should not be here. Why? Because we're going to make sure you're going to be a one-term president in that timeline. So if he would have done that, it would have been to a degree for not, let me go on, it would have been a great gallant effort. But women met with pushback, and we have more other things to do in our society, in our nation, to try to get it rolling to one accord. Let's not forget that president inherited probably most horrific recessions of all time from the past administration of Bush 2 and got the economy around. So people have to understand, know your history before you check somebody. You go back now to fast forward to President Biden, the right person for the right time, because we didn't see this coming with COVID. Between coronavirus and the murder of George Floyd gave people a reset, as I call it, in their minds, a rethinking, a reestablishment of where we are in society. So we demand probably now more than ever in our time, do the right thing. If not, call you on the carpet. We're going to make sure you don't get elected next year, whatever year you come for office, we're coming for you. Probably one of the most productive and proactive times in our nation to have a president right now, again, to take the job, to have a Madam Vice President and Kamala Harris, which again, other politicians, of course, you had, the administration of Obama and his lovely wife, Michelle, paving the way for someone like that. Let's not forget the connection here. Let's understand the following. Let's go back to what Francisco was saying about the Asian Americans. The 76-year-old Asian woman who was beat up in San Francisco, face plummeted by a 34-year-old white man because of the racism that's out there. It didn't matter that she's Asian. She's 76 years old. That could have been my mother. Mm-hmm. That could have been your mother, somebody's wife or grandmother, anybody else. If we take away the ethnicity of who we are, going back to what Reggie said, a human being first and foremost, we got to get that to my type of mentality. Now, for years on and for years back, and where we are, where we go forward, we will always fight up against racism. Racism is a never-ending battle. They ain't going nowhere. It's not. Let's all be for real about this. But if we can get a percentage of people that fight against it, that we are amongst ourselves and like-minded, that let you know, look, first and foremost, for anything, you are a human being. Now, in this country right now, and for centuries, because of your skin tone, you'll be viewed a certain way. I never forget the two conversations my dad had with me. One about the birds and the bees, one about being a black man in this country. You had those conversations. You had to. Why? Because you want to make sure your child or your person in your family or your relative is protected. They have to know the world that's out there. Once we know what the world was out there, we could combat against it.
Amen.
Amen.
Now let me say this right quick. everybody remembers when President Obama got in office, he had to first straighten out everybody's ideology by telling them, I am not the president for the blacks. I am president for all Americans. He had to repeatedly say that over and over and over again, because they wanted to make him the black president or the president for the blacks.
And all the other presidents that preceded him were the presidents for white people.
Well,
and I don't want to try to sound racist or anything like that, but the fact of the matter is, white people benefited more from every other president, and even now.
And so, we can't get nothing. I'm with you on that one, Lee.
But if you fast forward,
anything special other than treat everybody the same,
right? But see, he had to fight that fear that white America, that had. He was like, I'm president for the United States. So stop trying to throw this up in my face, trying to use that as a fear factor. Now, I said a couple of weeks back, hold on, Professor, I see you. I said back a few weeks back that, President Biden has an opportunity very similar to that of the South African president. He has the opportunity to do more to unite the country and be able to do more for people of color than any other president. And he has enough people of color in his cabinet, in his immediate circle, that he can get it right by understanding what the needs are. Because if you asked a white person what the needs are for a black person, they're not going to get it right. But if you asked a black person what the needs are of black people who have been black all their life, they know what people's needs are because they have been it, they have lived it, they know what to say that can benefit people most. Now it's working, it's happening. It ain't there yet. We ain't all the way there yet, but the discussions are happening. And I feel like Biden has an opportunity to cross and bridge the gap to get us more than what we've ever been able to before. And because he is the right person at this time to be able to do it, because he has surrounded himself with the right people to try and make this transition possible. Now, Professor.
Oh, okay, thank you. Listen, now in regards to President Obama, I'm very glad that his election came about and all those kind of things. The only like angst that I had, and it wasn't because he wasn't doing stuff for black people. I got kind of mad at him because he didn't do nothing for Illinois.
In the end, he did.
And then, that's good because, William Jefferson Clinton took care of the park systems and the public for everything in Arkansas. Yeah. Because soon as you get there, you're going to get hit with Little Rock Central. You're going to have to go there and check it out. They're going to tell you all that and everything with his stuff was beautiful. He made sure that the public stuff was really taken care of. So it was a lot of jobs and a lot of money flowing in there. Now, Jimmy Carter did a lot too for Georgia when he left out of office. So I was looking for a little bit more from President Obama in terms to helping people in Illinois. Maybe something for the schools, the colleges, and the universities, something else. Because every president seemed to have, the opportunity to do that for their home state. Now, that was my thing, for their home state. Now, and one of the things that, President Obama was a very wise man. He was very wise in knowing his history about the presidents and the presidencies and the things that could happen in this country. We know, and it was reported that it is at his first party, there were people in his party that the Secret Service didn't know about. That's a hell of a message to get. And you're the president of the United States. That's one hell of a message to get. When he stepped into office, 50 years prior to being in the office, John F. Kennedy was assassinated. He was a very wise man. So he knew what he had to do and what he had to take care of. He didn't mess with no defense contractors. He took care of the banks and he took care of the auto industry. Right after that, he did more. He did more for the big businesses, than any president. He took care of that. So I don't want to hear no negative stuff about what he didn't do for black people. I want to hear about what he didn't do for Illinois. Yeah. So because I think that every president, regardless of what color they are, or whoever, should take care of their home state. And I yield the rest of my time.
Yeah, and he actually, to be more specific, he helped out Chicago because, Rahm Emanuel was his main man who worked for him in the White House. And he dropped money into fixing up the transportation system, namely he gave a mega dollar grant to the Chicago CTA to be able to fix all of the infrastructure that they had problems with, but you got to remember, keeping in mind that the Republicans fought him on everything he ever thought about doing. He might not have, if he thought it, they're like, oh, no, it's not going to happen.
Right.
They took him to court, the Supreme Court, on everything that he did, everything. Yep. So the stuff that he did towards the end, he just did it. And it was no time for them to stop it from happening. So that was one of the things that he was able to do specifically for Chicago. Now, I don't remember the dollar amount of it, what it was when it happened, but to address that, he did have Chicago, on his blessed list, on his short list of blessings, on his way out the door, because he did do that, now, it's just difficult for him to have accomplished anything when, like Chris said, at your State of the Nation, you got Republicans shouting out, you lying.
Which had never happened before.
Never, ever.
Absolutely.
That was called lack of respect for the man in the office.
That's right. That's right.
Not the respect for the man or the office.
True.
You got to put both of those in there, because some things you ain't supposed to do because of the office. Even if you don't like the person, you still got to respect the office.
Yeah, well, yeah. Now, did you guys see the news story today that there was some jackass, I think from Texas, that tried to get up to the vice president's home with a gun in a car with ammunition?
No.
Now, if they don't throw this cat under the jail, I got something to say. That cat got to go under. He got to go under the jail. There can be no mercy. There can be no mercy, no excuse for that. Period.
Yep.
Period.
Now, where's her home? In California, right?
The vice president's home in D.C.
Okay, her home in D.C.
The Navy Observatory. That's where the vice president lives.
Okay.
He tried to get into that compound with a rifle and ammunition in his car.
No.
And it's going to be a lot of that. Y'all do know that, right?
Right. They got to put the jail on top of him. Anytime somebody does that against an elected officer in the United States into the highest office, regardless of color, because that person is a human being, that person who does that needs to suffer the consequences. I mean, deep consequences. That'll be the only deterrent to it. It can't be, he's just a sick white individual. No, this stuff has to stop. The law has to be, they got to throw the jail on top of that person. There's no excuse for that. I don't care. We ain't talking about her being black or nothing like that. We're talking about that being a vice president of the United States.
Yep. And it's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen Because 45, like Chris will always say, the dog whistle. He gonna blow the dog whistle, and these fools gonna respond to the dog whistle. They're gonna keep showing up. You know, this is just another one. Like Francisco talked about the situation in Atlanta. This dude came all the way up from Florida, and then on the interview, the cop said, "Oh, he was having a bad day." Bullshit.
Yeah, I'll tell you who was having a worse day. The people that he shot.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Bullshit. Okay, yeah, I said it. You know,
it's real talk, man. It is bull.
That's Telecky.
Yeah, the guys that picked him up, he was talking about all his dad had put him out, you know, but you got 5 people dead that he drove premeditatedly from Florida to the Atlanta area, executed a crime, got back in his car, and was on his way driving back to Florida to a home that he don't have because his daddy put him out. You know what I'm saying? And then he gets caught, and they're interviewing him, and on the cops' press conference, oh, he was having a bad day.
No.
But you understand, this is not going to stop. The dog whistle has been blown.
Yeah, and it's driving folk crazy. I got you. Just like a dog when he hear that whistle. Where you at? You keep blowing that whistle. I got you.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are looking for targets.
So
come on now.
But the consequences now have to be severe. They have to be severe. If you tried and you found guilty, the consequences has to be severe.
That's where we run into problems, though, because do you remember Martin Gugino, the 75-year-old man that was pushed by 2 cops in Minneapolis?
Okay.
Fell down, cracked his head open. The guy has to walk with a cane now. The guy lost hearing in his ear.
Right.
Guess what happened? Those 2 police, the grand jury said, "Nah, we're not even going to bring a case against you."
Right.
So remember the awesome power of the state and who is running it.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate. We want the system to be just, and the system itself is corrupt. The system serves who it wants to serve.
Oh, absolutely.
And the guy that Francisco was talking about, now he was white.
Yep.
Okay, but it was against their law and order. Okay, this guy was totally, not doing anything wrong. They pushed him down and effed him up. They effed him up, and it was okay. Then they said, "Keep on walking."
Well,
they didn't offer no assistance, none whatsoever.
Well, we gonna learn. There has to be some consequences.
The system's got to be revamped.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't get rid of it, but it needs to be revamped.
And that's the problem, is that these systems have been self-perpetuating from day one and self-protecting. And so, this whole kumbaya, let's make a change. Okay, how are we going to do that with a well-established system? I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I can't for the life of me figure out how that's going to happen.
Let me throw this out there as a solution. Okay, I'm always up at night trying to figure out how to save the world. Not conquer the world like Pinky, but save the world. Okay? The federal government offers several different branches of policing. Several different branches, all the way from military police down to police agencies that protect all of our government buildings. Now, if you were to take their training that they have on a police level for the federal government, make the necessary adjustments, and make it a universal training program for every police agency, county, state, local, whatever, then you would have a uniform policing opportunity. Okay, but there needs to be adjustments. Like they were calling for federal policing. That makes sense. When you go into the military has their own military police, every branch. They offer up policing. And then they have to deal with every race within their branch and cross branches. But if you made a uniform adjustment across the board and offer a uniform training program to every police agency, now you got an opportunity to get balance, because we don't have any balance. We need everybody polices up to their own discretion.
Right, but here's the question, Ron, and it's not that I disagree with what you're saying, but that solution requires people in power to give up power. That's the problem that we're always up against in these situations. Power is never abdicated.
Yeah, I agree. But guess what? You know, in order to be able to make a fairer playing field, somebody's gonna have to take the hit. You know what I'm saying?
I don't disagree. It's just that usually doesn't happen. That's the only issue.
Yeah. Well, you know, then we're going to continue to have anarchy the way that we got it. And if you don't know, we got anarchy. Okay. You know, we got mass confusion from coast to coast, top to bottom, you know, and it's going to continue to be that way. When you feel like you can take little kids away from their parents and house them in some type of boarding situation without any type of care, concern, or nothing, just because they're from another country and they have a different color, and that's okay.
No, it's not.
You know, but that's another subject. Okay. But, you know, people raise the flag. Oh my God, we got kids, but where they come from? Oh, it's okay. You know, they came from over there. It's
hey, if they were puppies, then we'd have a real problem. There'd be a massive outcry.
Man,
because they're brown children, nobody cares.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Look, Michael Vick went to jail for how long? How long did Michael Vick go to jail for having dog fights?
Over a year, I think.
Yeah, federal prison.
Yeah,
you know?
He's been toast ever since too. Well, thank you guys for another great show, and to all of our viewers, listeners, thank you for joining us. Don't forget, it's every Thursday, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, 8 p.m. Central, and here on the West Coast, it's 6 p.m. The five guys and you chopping up the latest and whatever's happening in the news, and sometimes it's not in the news. Thank you again for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and spread the word. Share this on your social media. We appreciate it. Be safe. Take the vaccine if you think it's right for you. If not, keep your environment clean. Wash your hands and everything around you all the time to survive. Till next Thursday, you guys be careful, be good.
Stacey Dash, call me. I got that contract for you.
Sick.
SNN Street News Now.
Wasn't for the books.